What is going on, fight fans? I'm going to come at you with something a little bit different today. I want to talk about former Puerto Rican fighter Felix Verdejo, who was just found to be guilty and sentenced to 2 life sentences in the killing of his former lover. Now, I want to start out by saying that I was a Felix Verdejo fan. Some of you may have heard me say before, you may have even saw me talk about it on Twitter, that Felix Trinidad, also from Puerto Rico, was my favorite fighter. When I saw Verdejo coming up, I didn't think that he would be another Trinidad, but I saw a young Puerto Rican fighter, and I thought this may be someone who I could get excited behind. If you remember when my channel started, for those of you who've been around that long, I even talked about some of his fights, had some of his fights up on my channel because I really was thinking that this young man would have some promise. But now we have this heartbreaking news, and I'm going to read some of this from the Associated Press. This is from one day ago. It says, former Puerto Rican boxer Felix Verdejo received 2 life sentences on Friday after he was found guilty in the grisly killing of his 27-year-old pregnant lover. A federal judge sentenced Verdejo following emotional speeches by the family of Keshla Rodriguez, who was killed in April of 21. It goes on to say that Verdejo was found guilty in July of kidnapping that led to the death and cause of death of the unborn child. The story goes on to say that the Puerto Rican police commissioner said that this should serve as a lesson for others. It doesn't matter how much fame, money, or power you think you have. If you break the law, you will have to respond. During the trial earlier this year, Verdejo's best friend, well, I'm not going to say his best friend, he had a friend who was also charged in the case, said the former boxer had pressured Rodriguez to get an abortion. He also testified that the day Verdejo killed Rodriguez, the ex-boxer punched her and injected her with a toxic substance before they tied her limbs onto a cement block and threw her off a busy bridge into a lagoon in broad daylight. Luis Antonio later called 911 anonymously and provided the location of Rodriguez's body. An autopsy found that Rodriguez had fentanyl and xylazine, a sedative used for animals, including horses, in her system. And it says that the case stunned the U.S. territory, where many have demanded better protection for domestic violence. Listen, people, this is an absolute terrible story. It should never have to get to that. I understand that he may feel that he had a lot to lose, but that young lady's life was not worth him pressuring her so it didn't, quote, destroy his life. Him doing that, he did nothing but not only destroy her life and her family, but he destroyed his own life and the life of his family. Pretty much, fight fans, I just want to touch on that. And like I mentioned earlier, the main reason I did this is because I was a Verdejo fan. This is very sickening, and he absolutely is getting what he deserves. That's pretty much all I want to say about that, fight fans. Holla at y'all later.